Oh, I see. I hit the leave meeting instead of continue. Okay, I think we're good now.
Okay,
Okay.
fantastic. Okay, well, so I'm here this evening with John Maguire. We met several years ago at a conference, and I know that you do a lot of public speaking in more the corporate business world, as well as speaking and teaching a lot for the kinesiology world. And so with the idea of this issue that's coming up here for attracting abundance, I thought it might be fun if we had a little bit of a conversation about that and just what that means and why people have blocks about this in the kinesiology industry.
Sure.
So if it's okay, the first thing I wanted to ask you is just what does abundance mean to you personally? Because it's different for everyone.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's a holistic thing. We think abundance is money, but when you really look at it, abundance is happiness, it's love, it's peace, it's connection with other people. So for me, it's having a full, abundant life. And pardon the pun from Jerry Maguire, but show me the Quan. And it's not just the money, it's the Quan. So for me, I find that it's just an expression. It's all about energy, as you know. And so when you have energy that is abundant, it's in your body, it's in your field, it's in your community, it's in your whole presence of your life. So for me, abundance it's an energy thing. It's just financial abundance is just an expression. In fact, what it is, it's an expression or a scorecard of how many people you're helping. So for me, it's not about collecting deceased notables, pictures of deceased notables on pieces of paper. It's about how many people did I help today? So if I'm helping others, that's abundance. The more, the better.
Because you can have all of the money in the world, but if you don't have love and time and people and places to enjoy it with, I mean, what's the point, right?
Yeah, there's a great song by Kenny Chesney called Rich and Miserable. It's a great, look it up on, YouTube it. It's a great video. And in the beginning, it has this professor, before the song starts, talking to these kids and saying, basically, what is your purpose in here? What do you want to give to the world? What do you want to bring as a result of your life? And then he has the people go up and each one does a different word. And it's so profound. And then he talks about the American dream of being rich and that people are rich often and miserable. Now, not all, I know a lot of rich people that are not miserable, but Jim Rohn said, don't climb the ladder of success and then find out you climbed the wrong wall. And so we really have to see, what's our mission and our purpose and doing that. And I think of like Mother Teresa. I don't think she was loaded with money, but boy, was she an example of doing service and making a difference on the planet. And that's where you feel at the end of your life, I really lived a worthwhile life. And yes, it's great to have money, to have freedom, and to give it away. I give away most of the money I make, I give to others and have them have a better, richer life. Because for me, it's about, I get my joy and happiness from seeing other people I've touched have joy and happiness. And so for me, it's not about what your balance is in your stock portfolio or your bank account, but did I make a difference in the world out of my presence? So that's my focus.
I like what you said about it being just sort of a marker of how many people were you able to help today. I think that's great.
Yeah.
So keeping that kind of in mind, why do you think so many practitioners struggle with the financial exchange part of our work? Because I'll admit that this idea of this as a theme has come to me because of conversations that I've had lately with practitioners, with instructors, with people who are having trouble because, yeah, the economy is kind of strange at the moment, but also just generally having difficulty with the idea of charging money for what they do or how to talk about money with their clients. And there's a lot of anxiety and stress around that.
Well, for me, it's about, again, that it's an exchange of energy, and that you have, for starters, it's the meaning you make of what money is. And some people have those meanings like money is the root of all, evil, or some negative meaning about money. And one of the things Tony Robbins taught me is there's two things for our psychological well-being that are the most important. One is what you focus on. And for me, it's focusing on what am I giving this person that's helping them have a better life, higher quality of life, a freedom from pain. And people will pay a lot of money to be free from that. In fact, they already are. I've had one person came to me, she said, I've paid $4,000 to get rid of my knee pain. And in one session, she got rid of her knee pain, and I didn't charge her $4,000, So you're giving a result, and it's an exchange of energy for what that result is. So focus on the service you're providing, not the time. A lot of people say, well, for this, like massage therapist, for this 30-minute session, it's this, and 60 minutes this, and 90 minutes this. You're not giving time, you're giving a result. So focus on that. And that the meaning, again, of money is it's an energy exchange that when you bring phenomenal service, it brings, again, a money scorecard of how much you help that person. Is that helpful?
Yeah. Okay. So then how do we balance as practitioners? A lot of us feel like we're doing this to give to others. We're doing this as part of a more spiritual or energetic calling. How do we balance that and that need in us with our need to make a living?
Okay, well, yes, it's a spiritual calling. And if, some of these, like the secret, it's again, frequency of vibration. And as you reach higher and higher frequencies of vibration, again, higher and higher levels of abundance occurs. So again, it comes back to meaning and what you're focusing on. So for me, there is also, in kinesiology that we do, there's a lot around inner mind, like affirmations that you're installing, and worthiness. In fact, I probably in my own development cleared a lot out of my money tapes and my meanings that my parents gave me around money. They both grew up in the Depression, and it was always scarce. I remember my father once yelling at me because I threw a bucket of water I thought we were done with away. And he said, that was a perfectly good bucket of water. And, everything was about, we got to pinch this penny and hold on to it. And that got programmed into me. So we all need to look at what programming we received and then clearing that through energy balancing, doing various things that we have in our toolbox to clear out that. And psychological reversals, I think, are a big one, being worthy. I completely, and people can tap, even though I have these issues around money and abundance, I totally and completely love and accept myself. And I now choose to have positive meanings of abundance allow me to accept whatever amount of money they do per session and feel good about that, programming it in the inner mind. So that's one aspect. Another aspect is the outer mind, is where you just set a fee, and sometimes you can muscle test this much per session, this much per session, this much per session. And I've even done that where, and it was a little uncomfortable. I charged $300 to $500 a session. And at times it was like, oh, I don't know, this is a stretch, but go a little bit higher. Don't go way higher, but go a little bit higher than maybe feels comfortable. And then put it out there. And I've had people that charge, I had $500 a session many times where people go, wow, this was incredible. In fact, I did one session, it was a year and a half ago. It was at a Tony Robbins event in Marco Island. And this woman, she called me the other day and she was still raving about that one session that she paid $500 with. And the result, again, was way worth more than 500 for her. She let go of things from her, like her divorce, and a lot of her adult life just cleared up in one session. So again, realize that people are paying you for results, and that almost everyone you run across is praying for somebody with your skills to help them. You know, there's no shortage of people. I once had a client that came from back in the days of Blockbuster. We were standing in line together and, talking, just didn't know this woman. And we ended up talking, and what do you do? And I said, well, I help people relieve chronic and acute pain and have a long and healthy life. Do you have any chronic or acute pain? Oh, yes, I do. And then she booked a session with me. Another woman, I was in line, I think it was flying to Hawaii, and I was in line in the back of the plane to get to get to the bathroom. And this woman in front of me in line, we started talking while we're waiting, and she's now probably gotten over $2,000, maybe towards $3,000 of services from me. And everywhere you go, people are praying for someone that we have, the skills we have, to work with them. So there's no shortage of clients. Now, there's also times I'll barter. I've had people that I barter with where I need services that they can provide and they don't have the money. And I say, I need your services. So that's another thing when someone says, I can't afford that. Well, what services do you have that you can potentially help me out that I would be paying money for, but now we do barter? And I've had so many things bartered, I've gotten my walls painted in my house. I got my car worked on. I got pottery done. I've gotten accounting done. I mean, you name it. There's people out there that want your services. And if they can't afford it, you want other services maybe they can provide. So I always ask when somebody says, hey, I can't afford it, I said, what services do you offer that perhaps I need that you can do? I've had transcription. I mean, I can go on and on about bartering. So that's just another angle where you're not like feeling if people have little issues about, charging a certain amount. Well, the people aren't paying it out of their pocket, but they're giving you totally great services they can provide. So that's just another twist on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like what you were saying there about just the fact that people are looking for what you have, because that's something that I've talked to people about before with marketing, going like, if you believe in this thing that we do, like if you know what it does, you understand the effects that it has for people, and you don't talk about it, like that is a public disservice, right? If you could help somebody and you didn't mention it, that's a problem. We should be telling people about how great this is. And it's not about trying to get them to come see you. It's about showing them this thing that could make their life so much better. So I'm a big believer in that one when I'm chatting with people too. So you kind of touched on it, but I just want to bring us back there for a moment. Do you have ideas, like suggestions, takeaway techniques, things that people could be using so that we can balance ourselves and our clients to be able to attract more abundance in all its forms in our lives?
Well, I love the affirmation technique John Diamond developed. I know Bruce Dew teaches that in some of his courses. And it's the affirmations where you can take, say, a goal or some issue you have, and then you do a hum. And if an indicator muscle goes weak on the humming, that means it's a midline alarm point. And then if it goes weak on counting, it's a bilateral alarm point. Are you familiar with that technique? And so there's a list. And if anyone watching wants me, I can email you. It's john@kinesiologyinstitute.com, JOHN @kinesiologyinstitute.com. I can mail you that technique. It's all written out. We teach it in my psychological kinesiology program. And I have this one woman, she's a award-winning actress in Hollywood. And she has these things where, I'm blocked on abundance, and she's got to pay her mortgage in her Hollywood Hills home. And she's like, she comes to me and she loves those affirmations. because she always walks out like, I can do it, you know, and she's working with Brad Pitt's production company now and getting her shows on TV. And so that technique is one of my go-tos. And you're basically programming in positive affirmations. And so like, you could try something like right now, when I think about charging for my services, and then you plug in the positive affirmation, I feel confident, I feel abundant, I feel gratitude and love, whatever you want to program in. So that's Goodhart originally taught that. I got to study with Goodhart back in '82, and he was teaching us tapping. In his system, you tap on the left side, the positive, and the right side would be the negative. And that's the way I was taught by Goodhart. I know Donna Eden does it the opposite, but most people I find do well on positive in the left. So you program your puzzle, and then I no longer struggle with money. I no longer struggle with money. I have abundance in my life. People love my services, whatever you can tap in. So that's one little tip on a technique. And then there's also I already mentioned about when you feel like you're sabotaging yourself, and you do muscle testing. Of course, I like to do the self-testing where I do the sway test. So give me a yes, I go forward, give me a no, I go back. And then you can go through each of those statements. Like, I am worthy of being abundant with money. And if it comes back, no, somehow you got programmed in from maybe a very young age, or it could have been your generational stuff. Like my mother said, there's the Ammon curse, like she's her maiden name Ammon. And she said, you know, they all struggled, you know, and they all just got by, and they had depression. And so you might've gotten that passed on. So you clear those things out. I am worthy, you know, I am abundant, I am grateful. You know, gratitude's a big one. So for me, I have a gratitude journal every morning. I write in that journal, what am I grateful for? So you probably know from the secret, and this has really been around for, you know, millennium, that whenever you're grateful for something, you attract more of it. Whatever you resist will persist. So it's a matter of you're programming in your inner mind through these various ways. And then another thing I learned is hang out with people that are at the frequency of vibration and talk in ways that are aligned with you, you know, where you want to be, you know. So hang around abundant people and happy and joyous people, and people who are productive. And then on the outer mind stuff, the practical is set an intention each day. Like I will set a goal financially each day. And I will set, you know, I'm going to intend to say attract, I'm mainly doing teaching. I still have clients, but I'll say I intend to have a certain number of students joining my class. And when you set an intention, then that is an attractor field, as David Hawkins talks about, and also Lynn McTaggart. Excellent book, The Intention Experiment. When you set an intention, the universe listens and says, okay, we're going to align to that. So set your intention. Another thing is fear is a big thing that stops us. You know, that's basically what keeps us down. So there's a woman, I think her name's Audre Lorde, and she was a writer, poet. And she said, the more I'm in touch with my vision, my purpose in life, the less and less important my fears are. So get a purpose. And I've written mine down, you know, that I can look at, you know, have it right on your screen that says what your life is about. You know, part of my purpose is sharing my ever expanding knowledge with others. And it could be at a checkout where I saw a woman who had hiccups, and I said, oh, here, I'll give you a little technique for hiccups, you know, rubbing the sternum, you know, pushing down like this, and boom, got rid of her hiccups. Or I'm on a flight and then person's, you know, white knuckled like, oh God, I'm so afraid of the plane, you know, crashing. Oh, tap right here, hold here, take some breaths. Oh, wow, it's gone. You know, I want everyone to focus on your vision, your purpose, your mission, And then when the fears come up, what the big deal, just don't focus on them. Focus on your vision and purpose, not on your limiting beliefs that are really not serving you at all. Just let them go. And that's another thing you can program out. Program in your beliefs that support your vision, your purpose, your mission. And anything that doesn't align with that, say, I'm letting it go.
So you mentioned the Intention Experiment book. And one of the last questions I've been asking everyone when we've done these interviews is just, are there any resources that you suggest sort of on this subject? So if you can think of any other great documentaries or books or courses or anything that you would recommend.
Yeah, well, first of all, Power versus Force by David Hawkins, and then you see how, and he's got this, see if I have it here. I have a chart. And in his book, he talks about this. It's the frequencies of vibrations and emotions that in David Hawkins' Power versus Force, you can read about all these. And really the name of the game is to keep rising in your vibration. And again, abundance is then a byproduct of when you're at high levels of love, joy, peace. That's an important book for me. Also, I've been involved with Tony Robbins. I've been teaching his life mastery for 27 years, and I love Tony's stuff because he's really about making an impact in the world, and again, the results of you helping others ups your abundance. So I like his, he has his program's called, one of the programs called Unleash the Power Within. I think the book Awaken the Giant Within is one of his books. And then he has some books about money too, which he also talks about quality of life and serving others. But, in terms of when you have money, what to do to invest it so that it's growing on its own. Rich Dad, Poor Dad on the financial end, that was a great classic, where his actual biological father was the head of education in the state of Hawaii, but he wasn't that rich. And he had a friend that his dad dropped out when he was 8th grade, and he knew all about how to grow abundance. And those principles he talks about in that book, those are great too. So it's a matter of, there's so much out there, but those are a few that I would suggest. And again, it's all about how are you serving and what's your mission and purpose that you are doing this work. And that's, we all have that aligned, that we're here to make a difference in others' lives. So that's the name of the game. How many people can you help today? Who can I touch in a way that transforms their life and get, is last quote I'll give you is Albert Schweitzer, the great humanitarian doctor, said, those of you who are truly happy and truly abundant are those who have sought and found a way to serve. And for me, you can't find a better way than what we do in kinesiology and Touch for Health and energetic kinesiology. That's our way of really serving others.
Brilliant. All right, thank you so much, John. And maybe if you don't mind, I'll get you to email me the technique. And when this goes into the magazine and print, we'll just put it right in there with it.
Fantastic.
And then anyone else who's just watching this on YouTube, you can email and ask for it yourself.
Okay, great. And yeah, anyone that I can serve further, again, at John at Kinesiology Institute, if you have specific questions that I can, help you in any way. We have often groups on YouTube where we get together, not YouTube, but Zoom, where we get together like this and have some coaching sessions. And because it's all about helping others. We're all in this together. And that's what I love about what you're doing, is you're really bringing people together to up all of our levels of consciousness and ability to serve.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. God bless.